About 1 minute.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Like,
Okay, the back, Chris, Jenny, calling you out.
I need to also turn in.
Yes.
Can't really turn second. Yes, April board meeting and a gathering. Yeah.
They exist. No, these.
Yeah, that's kind of about to get approved. I
They're in the-
I have nowhere to turn it in.
I think they've already been shared.
No, it was supposed to be turned in after. But I
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please take your seats. Let's go. We got a packed agenda. Great. I'm gonna take a breath. Stays usually one bandwidth, let's put it in, great team coming together. And here we are for the June 9th, last of our fiscal year, community gathering, with the Tully Association of Neighbors. So welcome, and so glad you're here. Yeah, we'll get going here. We just have a few things right at the beginning. We're going to go over just some. Yeah, we have first call order. Captain, Captain. So just kind of a few guidelines here. Just kind of some basic. Tonight we're going to have a special occasion with our city councilors. They're all here, and so I will do my best to facilitate with some questions. We do have some note cards over there. If you'd like to add some questions, we organized a table with some softball ones we're going to throw up there that we kind of research for Cully specific, and we'll go from there. But yeah, let's share the space. Let's see common ground. So up here, please be mindful of airtime, and when you have your question, please keep it to mostly Cully related kind of situations and questions, and I will do my best to kind of keep this gathering going and keep it short, and please keep your questions short. And we will respect other people's time to get up there and speak as well. And please. And we'd like to start usually with our land acknowledgement with our brother Max. I'm going to start this event by acknowledging that our community rests traditional village Moldova, Islamic, Clackamas, stands for the Chinook, Tualatin and Kalapuya, and many other tribes who have made their home along the Columbia River. Moldova is again the Chinooks that lives in this area. We thank the descendants of these tribes for being the original stewards and protectors of these lands since time immemorial. We also acknowledge that Portland, Oregon, is the ninth largest urban Native American population in the U.S. with over 380 federally recognized tribes represented in the urban Portland metropolitan area. We also acknowledge the systemic policies of genocide, relocation, and assimilation that still impact many Indigenous and Native Americans today. We are honored by the collective work of many Native nations, leaders, and families who are demonstrating resilience, resistance, revitalization, healing, and creativity. We are honored to be guests upon these events. Thank you. Next. Let's see, some housekeeping real quick before we get to our new board introductions. Also, I'm Aaron Filipowski. I'm the chair for the 26-27 season. And a little housekeeping, bathroom, through the kitchen, out the door. You can take a left, you can take a right, you can take a right. And the doors are too hard to get into, so it's kind of easy to find that. Snacks get up at any time. We don't officially have a break anymore, so feel free to get up with snacks, all the things. Please sign in. That's how we keep track of our members. And if you don't have your email, please write clearly on there, and we'll send you a wonderful newsletter that's brought to you by our newsletter communications committee. So yeah, let's. These are from April 26, 27 board members. Plus, it's good.
We had our elections in April. We have a full board with a co-chair. Not sure what the co-chair we had. We have 9 members total now. We have Aaron, Dean, we have Brooke, co-chair. We have to go around and our neighborhood board members and our elected ones, I guess. Say a quick little, why do you love being part of the board while you're here? We have Meg. Meg cannot make it. Maybe Meg is watching us online. Scotty, our secretary, and Nick, member at large, so if they come in. Abby, member at large, right there. Rachel, member at large. Austin, member at large. Austin. And Max. So real quick, it's just something.
Well, hello. Oh, jeez. Hello. My name's Brooke Valentine.
Oh, the video. Yes, they are recording this is live on our Google Meet.
But you're not on video.
You're not on video.
Just me right now. Anyways, I moved to Portland about 14 years ago and moved to the Coley neighborhood this last October. So excited to be neighbors with y'all and, you know, just so to be a part of our community and help bring joy and creativity and more love to our neighborhood.
Excellent. Thank you both for being
Howdy, Mike. Well, I guess it's not up there, but we have the same last name. That's not a coincidence. We just moved to Cully in October, and really excited to fill the space with joy and fun. And everyone says they're jealous of this neighborhood association from other neighborhood associations. So excited to be a part of it and make awesome things happen. Excellent.
Hey everyone, I really want to sing a karaoke song. I'm Rachel. I've lived in Portland since 2009. Moved to Cully in 2019. I co-own the screen printing shop across the street with my husband, Misplaced Screen Printing. I was the Cully Fest vendor coordinator last year, which is how I started getting involved with CAN. And I am the head of marketing at the Portland Mercury as my day job. So hit me in.
Hello, I'm Austin. No last name. Austin Farrell. I grew up in Hillsborough, and then I went to U of O, and then I landed back in Portland proper. In 2019, I lived literally on the border of Roseway and Coley for the last 4 years before my wife and I moved to Coley proper just last spring. So stoked to be here, and basically just want to be more involved, get active in the community, and do with the insane world we live in, do something that's tangible, that's not scrolling past the screen, and get to know my neighbors. So happy to be here and be part of the board. Plus, I think it's good. So thank you.
Yeah.
Large. Hi, everyone. I'm Max. I've been in Cully for a couple of years, Northeast Portland for 6 or so. It's an overwhelming role out there. There's a lot of work to do. Everyone's got kids to share, people to find ways to do that in their own ways. But yeah, we got to do something else. We can.
Thank you.
Would like to just say why well, actually, you.
Hi everyone, Nick Carr, still here. I've got a 2-year term. Been here for a couple of years in Coley with my wife and 2 kids, and mostly just on the board so that I can get to meet my neighbors, spend time with them, and try to make our community a little better. That's it.
I'm Abby. I've been born a year ago. I lived in Coley just 3 years. And like Nick, I joined the board so I could meet my neighbors as a new resident. I live with my sister, with my husband, and then my sister, my niece, and their dog, all of them have big property, which is why we love Coley, because we live together.
Excellent. And Meg loves being treasurer. So I'll just leave it at that. And Meg does an awesome job as treasurer. And we thank her for her work. Let's see, let's move on to our next agenda. We need to review our agenda and then we need to vote for it and approve it. And any member in here is eligible to vote. And we can vote no, we can vote yes, we can abstain, not be a part of it. We usually like to approve it. Just real quick, just to go over it, we already went through our welcome guidelines, board member introductions. We have some canned business, which we're doing right now. And we'll go through that real quick. And then your connection action through CAN. We have our Cully Clean 2026 update. And then we have Interstar Demo Media to give us an update on their program. We have our city council, Mr. Canal, will be here at 7, is what I last received, the word. And still coming from an hour ago. We'll do some updates to events. Please take it out if you'd like to give us any updates, public announcements. We'll usually end up having some time at the end. We'll see how the city councilor part goes. And then we'll have our drawing to buy some coffee gift card. They donated a gift card to us, Max within, and they just they were glad to give us a little shout. So, and then we'll go to the end. You can hang out, talk to your neighbors. We'll clean up. Any help with that is great. We should be out of here around 8 o'clock is usually the plan. And with Eddie and Naya and this space, we love it. Who needs more lead parking? Oh, all right. That is, we're hoping that more would see that. They are allowing us to park there for our gatherings. They close at 4:35, so it does nothing to their schedule. So feel free anytime. I know it's tricky around here to find parking, a little dangerous. So it's a big old parking lot, and they still have some time. Okay, Zach, moves to approve the agenda. Oh, we're gonna Josh right there in a second. All those in favor of approving the agenda of June 9th? Right? Any opposed? Opposed? Any extension? We have one. Okay. And you're welcome to give your name if you like. Matt from Verde, I've got a call. Oh, okay. That's it. That goes with our notes. Okay, we approved that. Let's move on to.
Who seconded?
Josh, Kim.
Thank you.
And the April minutes. If anybody would like to see the April minutes, we do have 2 copies printed out. Clicker Captain. So we've not received any emails about fixing it. This is not we don't really use this time to go over in detail. If you see anything that absolutely needs to be fixed now, please tell us. If not, then we can motion to approve it or not approve it. And the reason we do this is to have a gathering to be transparent and tell you that this meeting really happened. These are the notes, and you all get to proceed and say yes. Ready for motion to approve? Yeah, Kathy back there to approve the amendment. Her hand went up quicker. Oh, yes, yeah.
So are the minutes posted on the website so we can see?
Yes,
I did find.
we, it is, maybe it needs to be,
Is it the agenda?
it's under the events area.
Is it dropped down from the events?
I just pasted it, so,
It is linked in the agenda. It just doesn't blue, so it doesn't look like it would be.
okay.
But it's blue now.
We can work on it more accessible. And that is one thing we're definitely working on is having the agenda usually is linked a week ahead of time anyway. And then the minutes, if I do that, the minutes are linked on, if you click on the agenda on our agenda, you can view it. And if you click where this part right here, and that will take you to the link. So that is one way to get it, but we can make it definitely easier.
In our previous minutes.
Always going to be, you could go back to the old agendas, but we're that's something we're continuing to work on with the new website.
Should be able to keep clicking your way through. You click on that one, you can click on one before it, and click on that one,
Yeah.
and click on the one before it.
The drive, our drive is a bit, you can view most everything on our drive. So, and, that's definitely something we can work on as far as our transparency goes, so. Yeah, pretty good. So,
Did
seconds. Any seconds?
Oh, I did.
All those in favor of approving our April can gathering minutes, raise your hand. Does anyone oppose? Oppose, anyone abstain? Okay. What's the rule? Well, you do business here, Kelly, so you're a member. Yeah. Okay, let's please on the members board. This is Megan's department. Megan's not here, so I'm not gonna have many answers on, I just have, the numbers that you get, and we make sure that they're uploaded to ACN. And one of them that always email treasurer@neighbors.org if you're curious on what, more this money is going through. It can be somewhat confusing, but the easiest part is as of May 31st, we have 21,723 remaining. And even with LE Clean, which we'll get to in a second, that's still a pretty good payment. And we've been spending money. And then we just like to try to get a little bit of our, what we actually spend things on. And our new budget is coming up. Fiscal year starts in July. It goes to next June. So we will be coming up with a new budget. And please email us at info@KellyNeighbors if you'd like to see. We need ideas. We absolutely need ideas on what we can spend the community's money with. And tonight you'll learn a little bit more about what we plan on spending some money already, but we don't have an official budget until the end of July. And then that's always accessible by emailing our treasurer. And get a little more detailed. Megan is definitely better at explaining this. I used to be, but I'm not treasurer anymore. So, but one fun thing is we did it, 300 from our Oakshire event. If you went there, we made about $335 from that. So thanks for showing up. Y'all came there, and they just do a great nonprofit night. We'll do it again next year. They love having us. So that was some fun money coming. It's free money. You know, you just show up. It's just like you have fun. It's a fun little gathering. Then, yeah, any questions on the treasurer's report? Okay. Shall we vote on it?
Move to approve?
Scotty moves to approve. Second, name please. Michael. And all those in favor of approving the treasurer's report? Second approved. Anyone not opposed? Sorry. Oh. No. Anyone abstain from the report? Okay, it passes. You got a question?
No, I just forgot to bring.
Little.
All right. You're in the sun a lot. Okay. Let's see. Real quick, I just wanted to, being that this is the end of our fiscal year, this is a little bit about what we did this year. So a year of connection, action, and impact. Yeah, we had 5 successful, well-attended community gatherings in this new space. So that's fantastic. We've had, a lot of people attended gatherings, and we have a full board, so I'm excited about what the next ones are going to bring. And just with the new space, it's just great. I hope we can come back here at our next gathering. So with the parking now, I think it's going to be great. So yeah, we had Kobe Fest in 2025, but we did not put that on. But we had an awesome t-shirt print booth from this. So that was a lot of fun. Kobe Fest is coming back this year. We had our winter celebration party. Look out for that again. That's just a real laid back potluck, kind of how the old gatherings used to be. That's like a good time, cold, dark, winter time, and it's pretty fun. I think we do a white elephant course too. Thank you. Community gathering, I already covered that. We did a Killing for a Song event. We're gonna do more of those. We're gonna be more dialed in. Need volunteers. We're gonna look out for that again. 2026 elections. Already talked about that. Kelly King 26 happened. That was a big event. And then just another year of Neighbors. Yeah, that's what it's all about. You're saying that? No big deal. Make Kelly great. Okay, next slide, please. Abby is gonna help out here.
Well, we start with the financials. The Public Clean event, we broke even, which means we spent money to put it on. And we got donations and grant money to put it on. And we came out pretty much even in the end, which is very, actually, Ken didn't end up contributing. We put money into the budget, but we didn't actually have to spend any of that because we made it all with donations.
And that was gonna be 3,500, right?
65 for that.
Oh.
Well, we lost a grant, I don't know, there was some grant money, then there was no grant money. Then Ken couldn't contribute because you saw the previous treasurer's report, we have money to contribute to things. We printed a lot of supplies this year because we had not done it for 5 or 6 years in a row. So we're hoping in future years, if this event gets put on again, we can reduce some of those things and have not have as many expenses. But click to the next slide because it's more fun to talk about what happened on the day. So raise your hand if you volunteered at Holy Clean. Raise your, okay, that's awesome. A round of applause for all of our volunteers. Raise your hand if you dropped things off to recycle or exchange at Holy Clean. Thank you for that too, because the whole point of the event was to provide a space to dispose of bulky waste that you can't otherwise just get rid of in your street garbage and take the trip to the dump, but also help recycle things that have like the natural life, electronics and mattresses and other things. And then we also had a free store where people could drop things off that still had were still usable, but they didn't want them anymore. And then plenty of people came to shop the free store. So it was a wonderful event, and we've gotten a lot of feedback from volunteers and community members about how to improve it even more the next time around. So they
What's the 166 pounds?
Oh, we had over 300 people drop off things on that day, 300 vehicles. We had over 70 volunteers, and Metro tells us that we had 166 pounds of recycled household hazardous waste. So they took sharps, light bulbs. They didn't take paint. What was the third thing that Metro took? Batteries. Metro has other events where they can take things like paint. Yes, Michael.
I don't know if you're gonna say it, but I think we should give a big shout out to the two lead organizers who did a really good job of bringing us together, bringing the event together, and in a sense, bringing the community.
I was exactly going to close with that. So I'll give us an answer. They did an amazing job and so much work, and we should have paid them 3 or 4 times more. But Abby, Patrick, Meg, and Chris,
They were also
yes.
organizing committee. And then part of our grant money, part of the expenses in that was so we could hire 2 part-time coordinators, an event coordinator, Sienna Moses, who's not here, but is also a Kelly resident, and M. Jones, who is also not here, but is a Kelly resident. You might see them at the farmers market because they run a farm in Kelly's. But yes, thank you, Michael, for bringing that up. We've not done it with them and the rest of the coordinators.
Yes, amazing job. I mainly was just on the outskirts of it, and they put so much time and effort, and we learned a lot as an organization. I learned a lot as a chair. We all learned a lot as board members, and we're going to do this next year. Yeah, maybe 2 years. I would hope 2 years. And it was great just being there. And so once again, thank everybody, and we need more help at any event that we do. So hopefully for that. All right. Two, one of our presenters, we have Deanna Starr de la Familia, and I believe you have Nabil here. Did not get the last name, earlier, so I apologize. Come on up.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us. It's really amazing with all the work you're doing in the Colony neighborhood, how we blessing, public safety, a lot of concerns, in the Colony neighborhood. It's really amazing. So I just would like to thank everyone for inviting us. My colleague here is, yes. So I'll be brief. I hope you have received this ahead of time. A PowerPoint presentation and all the reports, we produce all the reports that are tied to homeless metrics. Usually we do this presentation like an hour and a half. We provide a lot of services, so I think we have only about 10 minutes or less. I think, you know, I'd like to have it interactive. Please stop me anytime and ask a question. So I'll focus on three major things. Our mental health, behavioral health, drug and alcohol, addiction services, and the work we have been doing, also the housing and support service that's tied to homelessness, reduction, home retention, reduction and shelter population. And I'll talk about the public safety, which is we have a successful youth program. It's about youth violence prevention and so forth. So I'll try to do the best I can at these. Ask any questions. My name is Nabil Zaghloul. I am currently the multi-county director for the program, and this December it will be 33 years with the county. And we have been in the Colony neighborhood for over 30 years. It's on 6736 North, actually is near next to Hacienda CDC. So we have been operating there for a very, very long time. So I'll start with the mental health. We do a couple of things. We have competent counselors. I'm really grateful and back and Akitas. We have blessed with a wonderful team. This could have not been done without the 30 team members that we have. For the mental health, what we do, it's ties to a lot of anxiety, depression, PTSD, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and then we add the behavioral health, which is father. It's about addiction, substance abuse, gambling addiction, even eating disorder, medication adherence. So we do all of that. And two categories. Some we work with adults age 25. We work also with public schools, but most of the time is like 4, 8 to 12 weeks. But with the behavioral health, we work a lot with individuals that you see on the streets, encampments, and that takes a long time, sometimes 12 months, 14 months, up to 24 months. And one of the things we do is we combine transitional long-term housing with mental health addictions, addiction treatment, recovery support, and so forth, and do a lot of wraparound service around that. I'll be happy to talk more in details about it. So, and we have a lot of wonderful, successful, we collect a lot of data, very data-driven about performance measures, completion of treatments, about relapse time, about staying sober, recovery, reintegrating the community, and so forth. I'll jump, please feel stop me and ask. The other thing we choose important is the housing support services. We operate under $8 million, and basically it's all tied to homelessness reductions and home retention. And one of the things we learned through this work is that one, more individuals that you see on the streets and in encampments, housing alone is not enough. You really to be successful, you have to combine that long-term transition housing with the treatments. And we have a lot of success And that's what we deliver good return investments. You know, we had family basically, you know, where family just an apartment, for, some of the program, we didn't work. There was some furniture, bringing people to the street and all that. So we had to bring them to the program and work with them for 14 months. Now they're successful, they're home, they're solar, they pay their own rent. And self-sufficient in that, that's really goes with. The second is we have learned that, we must prevent homelessness before it happens. And our prevention model works with families in the court system, for people who are facing imminent homelessness. It's keeping families hostage for their homes is way more effective. It's far less costly than responding once they enter the system or they become really roughly a double. And I'll talk about how just because somebody in and the guarantee payments was deposited, it's a lot. So that's why upstream strategies of prevention is a lot better than waiting for somebody to become homeless. And I can tell you all about it, give you details, know that. Third, one of the, in the Coley neighborhoods, that's one of the groups that's often overlooked in this conversation. Working families in the Coley neighborhoods. I have a father who says in the appeal, I have $3 with my wife. I make the minimum wages. I can't, everything goes to the rent. I have nothing left. So, you know, the highlights of the rent, cost, transportation, child care, insurance, it's really challenges that are really pushing families to the edge. So our program will work with them on not only enhancing stability, but we also work in terms of economic development, skill development, workforce training, economic opportunities to move these families really towards more independence, more long-term stability. And the other one is our program we do with started as we housing. We housed hundreds, and it's in the reports. Basically, it's people who are really in the street. These are functioning families with children. And so one thing we learned is that through strong partnership with businesses, one thing that we're really good as work with nonprofit organizations was critically important. But also, the business partnerships really important. So we built some partnerships where they help us house individuals who are at risk, don't have income, they don't have a great history. So, but you have to address the business realities and concerns of the business and the private sector. And that's why we were able to work with them in addressing homelessness, because we were submitting guarantee payments for 6 to 12 months. And that's why people are sitting at the table and discussing the homelessness piece. So the other piece I will jump is about the youth prevention. One of the successful programs we have in the Coley neighborhood is we build partnerships to bring quality activities like aviation, arts, music classes, robotics for low-income family children and mostly communities of color. And it has been very successful. We have seen people, graduated and auditioned for to be playing with the orchestra. And somebody from here, Akira, who is doing an amazing job. And these youth violence prevention, they play a crucial because it's more expensive. It costs only a fraction than processing a juvenile through the justice system. So it's we see a lot of activities, recruitment, call neighborhoods. So we work with families on addressing these public safety issues. We conducted recently a Coley neighborhood safety survey. A lot of people were concerned about the drugs that's happening, in front of their doors. They want camera, they were more police presence and so forth. So I'll keep it really short, but I will be happy if you have any question. I will let you make it more interactive. So go ahead.
Are you
Do you offer or are you aware of someone who offers mental health first aid training to the community in Cully?
Yes, we can definitely share that info. We have the email, we can share, where the trainings could, they do basic training, but they also extensive trainings for certain patients. And remember, the health and behavioral health service, they have different licenses. But most of the people who need one need the other as well. So, yeah, we'll be happy to share that info with you. Any questions?
Cully has 5 different mobile home parks that are pretty prominent in our community. Have you all been able to make any roadways or inways with those communities who have often felt forgotten from Nea, Hacienda, Vega?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that we have a lot of the students that are part of that input area. And also we have assisted them with rental assistance also. So, yes.
Yeah, we have, this year alone, we have served about 1,600 families that give them a home, house, and we had about 90% home retention, and we spend millions of dollars on rentals. We, during the pandemic, we worked specifically for every family that's in those mobile homes.
The beauty of our program also for our youth is that it's free. So we provide this amazing training for youth that music or bodies that normally, so only the rich people that get their kids to have private lessons. So we're able to provide these classes for these kids.
It's amazing to see these little kids going home with the violin baby there since 2017, 18. Who you there deserves all the credit because it's part of the program. Thank you for your
More information there, and I also recruiting for summer camp because we do have summer camps. So I put them on the table there. And I'm looking for more youth to sign up. So let everybody know.
So we would love something stop that. We would love to hear from you how we can do it better. It's not just you listening to us. One of the things we incorporate for a decade is an advisory board that's formed with clients, people who we serve with families, and we learn a lot that's not always a service provider, you know, it's actually when you go to that family down on the single mom, she can tell you better how to do it. I think we would love to hear from you. Let us know how. The question, oh, yeah.
Touching on what you said before, actually with police in the neighborhood to survey feedback from the community and interactions. What was the response from the police department about that concern and treatment organization?
Yeah, work closely with the Northeast Precinct, and I think the community with more visibility, because it tends to the crowd. They want just simple things. They want to, you know, be able to run their cases. They have cameras. They look trust in their homes, you know, and so I think it's. I started calling it back in the 1990s. I used to work with then the daughter of former chief of police and former mayor Potter, Katie Potter, and we had the community police in there. And I think we used to see a lot of drive-by shooting drugs. I think we're in a better place, and it shows me this. And thanks to the county and Metro and the whole association and the families together, that's why we in a better place is perfect. And I think that's what we want to hear from you, how we can do better, because always we invest in prevention, it costs a fraction than responding when people is on trouble. And in the program, we see 100% academic success, people stay in school, doing better, so we love it.
That's what I want to say is, feel free to stop by. We're really open Monday to Friday. Our violin classes from on Thursday until 7:30, so come on over and come see it. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always wish we had more time. We can figure that out for next year. Okay, our next segment, with our
Oh, that's nice. Hey, this one, people. Next, yes, City Councilor, Stephen Hall, Mr. Two, please come on up. Welcome. How are things?
Things are good. There's one. It's budget week, so the work's happening. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. This is part of your tour. We're second to last on,
I think it's third.
third to last. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
What are the next two? We have Hayden Island and we have East Point.
Okay. I love that poster that came out when it was like. We all saw, yeah, the Planet Tour. Sponsored tour. Yeah, I mean, first, before we get into questions, kind of the format we're doing, we just, we came up with some that are focus focused and, we kind of hit some of those as many as possible, and then we'll get to, I think we could do some questions here and there about that topic maybe that we're discussing. And then on the end, I don't know if we have a few on there, but again, we could curate next and get some in there. And then we looked at the, I think, out of here, or over this segment around 7:45, I believe. And yeah, we'll just do that. I mean, if you had any opening statements at all.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, I'm one of the 3 city councilors for District 2. District runs from St. John's to Culling, and Dan Ryan and Alana Perlini are the 2 other councilors from this district. You may know Dan Ryan a little better. He's the only councilor that was here before last January. The other 11 of us are all brand new. There's 4 council districts, 3 councilors each, so that's how it makes 12. I worked in the city beforehand. I did community engagement on public safety and came to this neighborhood association for recruitment for advisory bodies and things like that a few times in the years previous to running for office. And I worked on the Police Accountability Commission. I worked on trying to give community input on the future of corporate security response, things like that. Since coming to office, I've served on the Community and Public Safety Committee. Last year, I also served on the Workforce Development Committee and the Climate Resilience Land Use Committee. We restructured our committees and got rid of those last 2 that combined them with other things. So this year, I remain a member of the Community and Public Safety Committee. I'm also on Public Works, which is transportation, utilities, and infrastructure. Super excited for that. I'm sure there'll be other questions about that. It was nobody from District 2 on it last year, so I'm excited to be the first person to get into the weeds on transportation in particular on behalf of this district. And I'm the chair of the committee as a whole. And I think it tells you nothing about what it does, but it is governance, it's role to the city council, it's finance, it's government oversight, and it's emergency response, including federal response. So I've been working a lot on that sort of issue and the lead sponsor of a few pieces of legislation related to the federal advice on enforcement identification, things like that. I'm sure there'll be some conversation about that, so I'll just leave it there.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into a serious issue, I think there's something fun about what your thoughts on Cullen and just you know, we didn't have one person run for office that was from Cullen. Unless I'm incorrect, I'm pretty sure that's fact. Not a resident from Cullen ran for the office in right now. But yeah, tell us a little something about.
So I will say, first off, I spent a lot of time in Cullen, you know, here and there in restaurants, good Cullen, a couple times, for example. So I met them in this room, the owners beforehand. There was a business mixer here, and they told me that. So then after that, always have a good time as well when I've been at whatever the community events are here. I'm excited for Cullen Fest, which isn't ever. And so, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, no, it wasn't really a issue. It's one of those, we love having it all out here, and all 3 came out when first were elected, so that was excellent. Yeah, so, okay, if we could get to the next slide, please. We have about housing and development. This was, Cullen's long been one of the most affordable neighborhoods. That is changing fast, and it hasn't changed for a while. Do you have, are you part of any concrete plans or protecting longtime residents, meaning that Latino or middle class families from displacement? A lot of we all know the different housing situations we have here about affordable housing.
Yeah, I'd say three things. One is what you do to try to prevent the displacement in the first place. One is what you try to do after, as it relates to people who have to leave the housing situation they're in, but not necessarily the neighborhood. Which I think is a normal part, especially as folks come out to the station place, things like that. And then there's what you do after the fact. So I'm a big believer in prevention relations being the first thing we try to do. That's safety is on. I think there's been a lot of development here. A lot of that has been low income or affordable housing structures are around 60% AMI, which means they're designed for people who make 60% of the annual median income of the city. That has two problems with it. One is that we're talking about working class and Latino community members, their averages are lower. So they're not necessarily built for everybody who's here. The other problem is that they're based on such a high percentage of that income going to rent. And as time has gone on, the affordable housing is not that much cheaper than market rate housing. And there are more hurdles to jump through to get into affordable housing. So we have to fix that in a couple of ways. We have to bring down, try to focus on getting more of the housing to be at lower income levels. So that's folks can get into that in the affordable sector. But that's not everybody. Right now, everyone's going to be in capital A, capital H, affordable housing. And so the other piece of this strategy is trying to make it cheaper to build in general. Trying to increase the supply helps in a couple different ways. Obviously, some of it's directly affordable. The other part is that there's a upsorting. Basically, someone who makes enough to pay $2,000 a month in rent lives in a place that rents for $2,000. Their income goes up, but there aren't a lot of more expensive newer buildings to get into either. So when they eventually get that bill, they can go into that, and that frees up the building at $2,000, which frees up for someone in an $1,800 a month unit that can afford to pay $2,000, and eventually kind of filters down. So that's the other piece of building. But the other piece of lower rent is addressing vacancy rates. And I've done a study to look into long-term vacant property fees. There are vacant properties all over the city. Some of them have been vacant for a long time. And I think if they've been vacant for, other cities have done it 6 months, 9 months, a year. Smart to put a stick in place for that, not just carrots for people who are leaving properties vacant for that long. And the best way to get out of that is to get someone in fast. And the best way to get someone in fast is slow. Once someone gets this place, though, I do think that we need to do a better job with the publicization and actually the detailed as well, to make sure that folks who are displaced from anywhere are able to get back into the neighborhoods that they grew up in, they spend time in. That's a long conversation that maybe could serve as funds.
Yeah, excellent. Any questions maybe two on this topic? Okay, moving right along. Infrastructure. Red, sorry.
Thank you. Councilor Mayor, I have a picture that live on Northeast Coley or Northeast Going Street in Coley. And homeowner and a landlord. And around me are many, many substandard apartment buildings. And I'm wondering if you have any advice or direction for those of us who would like to see those approved. Where do we begin, or who are the resources who might help us? We're talking about other landlords whom we don't know, and the living conditions of the people there are poor.
So it sounds like accountability for landlords that the property is taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and a lot of this is going to be around code enforcement. It's not everything. I think our codes don't capture every potential way that our property is substandard. Like, are these market rate? Are they affordable housing? Are they forward? Are they for that?
Not to my knowledge.
So there was an article, I want to say in Willamette Week yesterday or today, about code enforcement times being incredibly long. And part of the reason for that is that we fund it's all under permitting, it's funded by permit fees. And so when there's a lack of permitting fees, there's fewer staffers there to do
all the work, which is great, but it's also code enforcement. So we could change the way we fund that bureau and also create, there's literally no standard for what constitutes the amount of time it can take to get an answer back. That's ridiculous. Like, I just know we're not always going to hit our targets, but we don't even have targets right now. That's the sort of policy side. In terms of for you specifically, we can follow up back and recommend you, but there's a team within development. And this is part of why I have a support of directors bill rights, which have to be a piece to care about code enforcement, and also ensure that you can't raise the rent while you have it.
All right, excellent. Let's move on to infrastructure, because that is definitely something that probably we talk about with some of our guests with Piedmont come in, and we still have some of the worst unpaved roads in Portland. And we've been getting some updates. I live on gravel road, and it's even getting it raised then or level. Raised the right word, but that even took 3 years. The potholes come back, they're back. This happened in February. That's just, it's just, I go out there and thank them and just the fact that they're out there doing it. But yeah, it'd be great to your opinion on that, or if you have any for us.
Yeah, I will kind of note, sorry here. We've got, I mean, there's next month, the first money will be coming out of the Cully Tip District. So that little sort of improvement. I know that there's a list of all these streets, northeast 60 seconds, 58%, which is Prescott, Sumner, 33rd, that's all part of the sort of first round of that, of another project, which is from the local transportation infrastructure charge.
And you can go online and they can find out what's going on. Yeah, or maybe there's it's not a season, the city's still pushing back years and years. I know they're getting some done, but isn't there this, are they really trying to fight hard to get all that back? I know coding.
Yeah, so I would say, PDOT have a structural deficit. Still does, but it's going away in years, where basically every year was $45-ish million behind. And there are a lot of reasons for that. But we adopted two different revenue raisers. One is the transportation utility fee, which takes effect on January 1st of next year. And the other is the street damage restoration fee, which is for like when Northwest National Comcast carves up your road. Instead of just charging a permit, we charge them enough to restore the street. Previously, we were basically subsidizing people coming to the road. And so this will stop the subsidy. Together, those actually us not only to the point where we are able to, as Colin was, keep our streets in their current mediocre condition, but also add about $15 million a year to start digging out of that. On top of that, there's sidewalk improvement and paving project, which was adopted. It's supposed to be set at the beginnings of District 1 and District 4 prioritized, and I specifically brought up Cully in that conversation to make sure that it was on the record saying Cully would be funding out this forward. Because this is the worst roads in District 2. Low pocket it's mostly here. So that's another piece of it. So there's urgency around it. It just wasn't funding. Now I think on the paving side, that is a process that's starting to change.
Chris?
Yeah. Maybe it has to do with the structure and also housing, affordability. Last year, my water bills were $170 a month. And
more,
and this year they're probably going to be more, right? Because there's added taxes on for people. And is there, how can we make things more affordable while doing some infrastructure? Are we going to have more add-on taxes that are put on our other water bill, or something on our gas bill, or something on our electric bill later? Is that what can you do to help us lower our housing costs and still do infrastructure?
Yeah, I I appreciate the question. You're right, but they are going to go up. We are currently on track to have 3 extra years of high, like high-ish water based off of some major transportation, sorry, not transportation, major utility upgrades. There's a sewer system. There's a lot of sewer system to have bonds to pay for those. And bonds get repaid by grants. And then for the water bill, that's been actually the lesser portion of it. It's the thing you agree first, but actually sewers higher than we're less formal. So the water side compared to comparable cities. But there's the federal requirements for us to deal with cryptos per and all that. And that makes it for and cost more than we think we see. So there's a lot there that we can do to conduct oversight on price. The transportation utility fees, they're all the facts that all very clear that there's a path to increases way above inflation. What we have been doing is trying to increase the discount program. Try to make people are aware of their ability to get discounts on their bills. It's been pretty limited in terms of its usage because very few people know about it. And we don't do a good job of outreach on it. So I think that's the very clear, definitive thing that we're doing. But the rest that I hate to be down about this, is really not down. Because a lot of the pipes that were carried out funded were built with a lot of the federal. A lot of all of our infrastructure came from somebody that it was directly from the program and from the state passed it through and all that extra. And it could not have been a more responsible time for this particular city because all of our systems are due for repair. So a lot of what we're trying to do is maximize the money to get out. We have a great government team that is only on the program, but it hasn't been as successful. I think the biggest thing is the state side. Have you statements and the other securities coming here? Not yet. Okay. So I will see talking to them. Part of the reason we need the transportation utility fee in the first place is the state job repeatedly in relation to transportation. If you have experience working here for years, I was looking at the 2022 year, 2023. Don't worry, it's not 2024 next year, and then today and so that's part of the upkeep. That's it's not I want to fully it's not solve it. All year and
And a long driveway, a lot of property, a lot. Say, it's like an additional $160 for having sidewalks or curbs or anything associated with the property. That's my favorite for $60. So I'm still paying an additional $100 more than I was with the previous competition. I was wondering if that can be readjusted, because I don't feel it's fair. How is it that much?
I'm actually not an expert on how they would be that way. I'm gonna, but that's exactly how they specific topic. And maybe get back to the issue.
That's why I feel it's like over $600.
That's how something should be. I guarantee no be able to try. So let it go today. All this. If it's started quick.
On the housing issue, the major cost of construction is now the cost of life. How do you build affordable housing on land that costs $1 to $2 million per acre, like a house up the street? So And it's hard down, so that's actually the land cost.
Affordable housing on, they're building affordable.
Land, it costs $1.2 million per acre. That has been made intentionally out of our metro and state.
What's, it seems more of a point than a question. What's the, you're, how is the, why do you do it?
$1.2 million an acre.
We has to plan for more units. So that is simple as. No, you build up.
Building up is more expensive than building steel four.
Well, as it relates to the cost of land, which is your question, we're talking about having the same amount of land for more units.
Reduce the cost of land, like stop putting 95% of the land off of housing.
I'm not sure that there is a situation where 95% of land is off limits to housing. However, I will say the detriment is if it's zero growth boundary, I will say that's their thing. I would say that there will be too many.
We keep this rolling, but yes, thank you for participating.
And the quick follow-up to that is, how will you prevent or hope to prevent all these multi-levels that cover neighborhood, so it doesn't happen? Tearing down a single home on a side street, you put a 3 or 4 in the northeast, Hillsworth and Minnesota. They just built an 8 stories high apartments on a side street, no parking. Will you be able to provide or protect the county neighborhood from that situation from happening? Because now the residents are leaving, so you're displacing people that were normal, regular residents.
So it sounds like kind of a zoning and then also.
It used to just, it was little affordable, now they're going up, and it's not a regular, a major street, it's a side street, a corner side street.
So I want to keep that checked and then.
For example, it's on Minnesota and Getchell.
You were talking about the Hacienda building? On what's the Market building?
I don't know the name of it, it's an apartment.
Just what's the freeway, right? It's right up on the
side.
Yeah.
So, and that one, part of the reason that that's due
negative outcomes is that they built like 95% of it and they ran out of money to stop. So if the building is basically done, there's support left. It could be done in a month. And they just stopped building it. So you have whatever was there before is gone. You have construction taking up space and then you have no housing in there for a lot longer. So something we did on that was Hacienda City. And we helped give some bridge financing to that to help get it done. So now we're in that month. It's just 4 weeks in. And the money is only, it doesn't go out the door whenever you pass it. You have to just pay for it.
And the question is, will we be able to protect so that doesn't happen in this area? Because I don't know, from 4 stories high and it went to 8.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened specifically, but what I can say is that, many people know this, I support an upzoning in the area set for all of the 4 floors in corridors that allows it to go up to as many as 6. I support that since the campaign because there is no path to fixing our road situation, our water situation, our sewer situation. I mentioned this to your question earlier, we're not getting more ratepayers for the same amount of road miles. There's just no path around it. And we have costs going up for roads. Pavement maintenance is inflation is significantly higher than the increase in tax revenue, increases in wages, things like that. So there has to be a density conversation, and it just can't. The math will not add up unless we're heavily subsidized by the railroad. I have some hope for them in the future. So there's that. In terms of, there's a maximum height, and the that's why I call it foreclosed corner stores, because that is where it should be. That makes sense. I've lived in other cities where they've had neighborhoods that are significantly more popular, significantly more proximate to the services that people need, the shops and restaurants and things. When you have that density, and that's one of the things you have more streets like this one, right? Where you're proximate to it. In terms of the parking situation, there's also no way around the transit conversation. And we're stuck between a rock and a hard place on this one, because we're kind of similar to the New York model, where there's a state agency that runs transit for us in our metro area, but it is obsessed with ensuring that everybody in the suburbs has all the services they need at the expense of people in the urban core who actually use it much more. And B, we're not a high enough percentage of the state population to be able to influence their decisions enough. On the other hand, you have the Seattle model, where it is a local, regional, they do South Transit, they have these, they go out for ballot measures for funding every now and again. They've had all but one of theirs pass their ballot measures. We took one out a few years back and it failed. It's 7 years ago now. And there's a little bit of, I think people gun shy are going after the voters again. And
Is that to more transit? Or
yeah. Yeah. And we have we can expand with Max here. We need to do build a transit system that is radial in and out of downtown.
And it sounds like they're still going, oh, we're gonna build these places and people are not gonna use their cars. So we've seen that for years and that's not true.
Yeah, like, I call it wish casting, right? Like you're saying this future will exist with absolutely no activity towards getting there while we're simultaneously cutting buses. And so there's a local control issue, but there's also, we have to organize as a community around transit dollars, because there is no more space for parking. And to get back to both two comments ago, building like an 8-story building with 6 floors of residences and 2 floors of parking is not cost effective. It's too expensive to make any of it affordable. We pay $4,000 or $5,000 a window.
The question like that is, you'll find a developer that has to know how to do that. In the Dominican Republic, that's where I'm from. They build down parking lot for the first and second floor, and they provide parking for at least 2 parking for each unit. Now, why can't we do that here? That's what, it's amazing, and, I don't want to do that negative part. But then, what does it have to be in city? There's plenty of open land within the city that they can build more apartments, so they won't have any issues with this parking. It's wrong when you say, there's plenty of open lands that has public transportation, and these buildings can be built. These buildings, say close to Portland downtown, they're not affordable. The one in North Portland, the 1 bedroom, paying $1,500, $1,600 a month. That's not affordable for a low income family. $2,300 for a 3-bedroom. So they want to build it in, but then they're not affordable, like we were talking about.
Yeah, and by the way, the biggest cost is not actually the land, it's the debt. Right? When people are putting this together, and so we also need to have larger conversations about the way in which we finance things. And it's usually a state bank that we talk about, but I'm interested in that conversation about getting money to have this financing streams for this type of construction. That's not a 1 week conversation, right? That's not we'll get that done in 2026. That's a year's conversation. But it's doable. I've talked to some of the folks who work on that out there in the Washington State Legislature. I was keeping up, so I know some folks out in Seattle, and there's a really interesting set of circumstances that make that fit better. In North Dakota, has for example, saving either it's just easier finances.
So yeah, definitely, and there's always passion behind that because it's so tough on so many levels that are affected, and maybe civil engagement is reminding the city that we need to work on that. But keep us going, Max. Let's do a question from the audience. The Cully neighborhood is sorely affected by the rail. CI hub, there you go, that's what you agree. Let's bring, this one, this is always a passion one, for many reasons. And, yeah, what have you done to stop the oil, from coming in, and we're gonna blast it out, so, a little bit of CI hub.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, CDI, Center Critical Energy Infrastructure Hub, they're the big tanks you see on the south side of the St. John's Bridge. They store 90% of the state's liquid fuel supply, and they're on liquefiable soil, which is to say soil that will act like a liquid and drain it into the river if there's a big effort, which we're using. And they'll be splattered. So there's a lot of different things we should have done decades ago and weren't done. And since getting to office, I think, and by the way, I talk about organizing for transit. Look at how the Linton neighborhood organized on the CE map. Because 100 and some candidates for office for city council, and every one of us had to have a position on the CEI hub. Whether you knew about it beforehand at all, you're an expert on it maybe you knew nothing about it, maybe you heard of it, and then you gotta brush up because they organized so heavily around it and made sure that everybody had to have a position. And we all had to say it out loud, and now you can hold all of us to one accountable for it. What I said then, and what I'm saying now is the same thing, which is this should not be a place that we store 90% of our state's liquid fuel in the urban core. We're anticipating a 37% reduction in demand for liquid fuel, or excluding jet fuel, over the next 15 years. And we have almost no plan to draw down what we're doing beyond that point, which is something we need to do in order to get the state to move some of the fuel outside. We have to create a condition where we can't store that much here by reducing capacity at these locations. The state is working, so the state is working on the environmental air quality kind of stuff. That's their lane, and they've been mostly doing it. The county has been working on risk bonding, which is the idea that if there's a disaster, there's going to be massive impact to the community, to health, to safety, and the companies need to have insurance that pays us, the governments, if that happens, to mitigate the harm. That's great if you are trying to, remediate after the fact, but it doesn't do much before the fact. And so our side of the house is more the zoning and the first 24 hours. And in this district, we are where we'll be pulling this direction most likely, but also the part of Portland that Ken, so the North Portland Peninsula, in particular St. John's, west of the railroad cut. There's also an issue with evacuation. There's an issue with not having fire capacity. Our industrial firefighting capacity is east of the Willamette River in the city, where all the specialized foam and chemicals that you need for certain kinds of fires. And the bridges are mostly going to fail, the ones that don't be packed in the event of a major earthquake. So we're not prepared at all. That's the bleakest story about this. Again, what we are working on, I've been trying to get the fire bureau to get an idea of what the industrial firefighting capacity needs are on the west side of the river, so we can start the process of not just building it, but getting companies there to pay for it as a condition of remaining in the area. There's a zoning conversation or planning conversation. It's kind of out of the planning commission. They gave us 4 alternatives as a starting point for what you want to do for the future of the city over the next 15 years. And I told them your options 1, 2, 3 are completely unacceptable, and 4 should be the most conservative approach, which is drawing down the capacity equivalent to the demand. You need to draw down the greater demand so that there has to be less there, but also there has to start building storage capacity somewhere else in the state. Because without that, we will never actually move towards getting rid of this incredible power costing.
And I know we could probably use that be a whole second by itself. Actually, we have some awesome community members that was updated and he said to write all of that. And we have about 5 minutes left, and so we'll wrap this last one into. The other questions were great. They weren't so much Kelly focused, so not ignoring them, but you can always, of course. So this kind of 2-part, maybe a 3-part. Should be fairly easy. How are you dividing responsibilities with the other 2 counselors with District 2? And in that kind of same tone with kind of one of these up here, just building some of those relationships with organizations in these neighborhoods. So with Cully, we have a lot of nonprofits here, we have some other great ones. We have some aren't around anymore. But yeah, that kind of Irish sharing responsibility and then reaching out to us.
Yeah, so this, I mentioned that I met the owners of Halloween in this room, right? And that's because there was, I don't know if it was, there was a business mixer, I think they had put on, if I recall correctly, I'm seeing that. And so just whenever I think they might have really bad saying no to invitations, so I try to come out, I make that size hard with scheduling when I say yes to just about everything, and sometimes there's two things at the same time. I haven't solved that little problem yet, but we're working on. So I try to talk to, folks that all different groups that we're talking about here, in addition to obviously coming to this, around the entire district. That's a really high priority for me, and that's why we did the neighborhood association tour. That's why we're going to be going to schools later on, and that's why we're going to be trying to talk to different.
It's all been great to, we made like, y'all, really try to come, so props that,
Yeah, there's layers to it. I think Dan and Alana also care deeply. Sometimes we have different priority groups that we talk to within. I think everybody talks to neighborhood associations. I think that's true in all the districts, but I also more. What I will say, and sort of pivoting to the other part of the question, is that I think there are differences of opinion, and we created a council with an electoral system that is designed to get representation more than it's designed to get everybody to agree. And as a result, there is no single district where all three of them are very, very close in their politics. I think D3 kind of gets the closest, but on a lot of legislative issues, a lot of policy issues, there's core disagreements between all three of us. But there's also constituent services work that we do. There's also advocating for specific things in our district, most notably the Sunderland RV site. We try to keep that open. We didn't succeed at that. I'll give you two that succeeded at, two that we did. Another one we didn't succeed at so far is the Columbia Pool. Ones we did succeed at are primarily in St. John's. We saved the community center there and got the fire engine saved as well. Councilor Ryan and I are working on funding a fire boat right now that has been not maintained on the island that's walking about 30% of the speed. We work really well together on that. We're actually really proud, all three of us, we think we're probably the best at working together on things like that. Sometimes we get constituent communications that come to all three of us, and we'll meet every couple of weeks and say, who wants to kind of take the lead on this one? There's usually enough that we all kind of take. And we can do that even as we disagree on some of the policy things that we have to vote on. And so when you watch the city council, what I would suggest is watching the meetings and understand that's just the legislative side. There's so much more that we do that may not be in that room, but that involves a lot of collaboration. And I think we all respect each other a lot as people and get along really well as people. And so even though we don't always look the same way, and frankly, rarely all three of us look the same way, it still works well with that. Yeah. And part of that is we're all listening to the same people, right? Like we're all hearing from you. And I imagine you're not completely 180 on your positions on things for this month to next month with someone else's here. So we all get the same thing.
And I'm gonna kind of ask an easy fun one at the end, to all those people as well. That sounds like one thing that gives you energy as a counselor is meeting residents and meeting one of those. What's on that drive, and then we'll wrap it up with, what's one year why I love Portland, and maybe why you love Northeast Portland.
Technically, I live in North Portland. I should. So, I went to high school in Vancouver, and when I got out of school, my friends and I would come to Portland. There's nothing we wanted to do. And I spent a lot of time downtown Saturday market, but primarily Alberta. Alberta is the reason I decided to move over districts or anything like that and live in Overlook. I was born in Overlook. But Alberta is what originally drew me to this part of the city and all the way out. As it's not just the part by the radio and stuff, but all the way out past the TC those different kinds of places that some of those weren't there when I was a teenager, but.
You represent District 2. It's not just Pelham.
Exactly. So that's what originally drew me back. I love it out here. I try not to spend too much time in City Hall. I like the chamber, I like that's the part of the job that everybody knows. You talk to people and all that. And I love it out here where I'm actually meeting, talking to people that have, I think, a lot of shared values with me and with my communities that I work with. The rest of the building is the hardest part of the job. And so anytime I get out, away from the lawyers tell me you can't do that, to the place where you can talk to people who still have a belief that this is a great city and can be even greater tomorrow. That's good.
Favorite restaurant in Portland? Yeah, I know too.
Oh.
So most
recent.
So how much favorite? Yeah.
Okay, I'm using Howard's Kitchen for a food cart. And then I really like Bernadette. Just over there, recently.
So not bad, just a suggestion.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, we're not I had a lot. Yeah, Halloween was great too, for sure. If you haven't, it's very close.
Sure. All right.
Well, thank
Well,
you.
thank you for being here. And yeah, thanks for, I mean, great. Yeah. Professional over here. Spread the word. Yeah, thanks again, everybody, for the questions. Okay.
With an email address, counselor.canal@portlandoregon.gov. You can get everything at portland.gov/canal. That's all kinds of information. It's KA.
Good, yeah, thank you. Yes, once again, just thank you for the question. We take it all and, updates to events and public announcements. We'll move on to this as we wrap it up. We have Kristen from Cully Fest.
I am one of the people on the board of the heading committee for Cully Fest. And a quick update here, number one, we need you. So really anything that you do is probably helpful. We need people who do graphic design, outreach, we like talking to people. If you I can just loud. If you like to take care of plants, if you like to bake, if you like to talk to people, if you write things or do translation or websites, we need you. If you have a phone, you can scan this and there's a little way to put your name and phone number in there, contact information. And you can also find us at the next general planning meeting, which is going to be in this room at 5 o'clock on the 18th. That's when all of the pods that are working on this report out as to how they're doing and make asks for where to go from there. Also, we have socials coming up. We're partnering with CAN on the 20th of June at Cudamox Park. Thank you. Partnering on the 20th at Cudamox Park. And then we also have a fundraiser at Oakshire Brewing. Just like see how it worked last time for CAN. We got the $335. You just come over there, drink a little bit, eat a little bit, talk to friends. It'll be music. It'll be fun. Yeah. Please scan, check, and if you have any other questions, you can talk to me or send an email.
Donation sponsors.
I will go to one of sponsors. Yes.
Speaking of sponsors.
Speaking of sponsors, thank you so much to CAN for supporting us. We did find core funding, which means that Cully Fest is going to happen.
And to that board to renew $5 grand and give that to Cully Fest to help out. But it is really more of a grassroots movement this year. And you know, could be a good old barbecue in the streets, who knows? And we'll need support, need singers, need vendors. It's going to be more volunteering your time. And we are right now the sponsor. We're not necessarily organizing any of it right now. We're going to be working with Cully Fest, so it's a hit once again. But there's a great team behind it, and we really know what we're doing. So thank you, Kristen. Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. So we had our official first resident, take, the Cully letters. This is, on northeast going near 68th-ish.
Yeah.
Between, yes, so they are there, they're alive. They, have their own personality. People, we've already had some pictures, that people are taking. Denny and I are trying to work this out where we load them up. We love other volunteers helping out. And, we need more crews to do this, but they're not heavy, they're awkward. They are 5 feet tall. That is 20 feet. Right now they're looking great, and yeah, we want to encourage people to paint on them. So that QR code works. Reserve your spot. We're looking at like 2 weeks at a time because they take some time to put up, so not too long. There's not much making that with them. But they're great. They're amazing. They're so fun. People come by, they're smiling. So huge hit. Please reserve business. We don't know what to do with concrete yet. It's a little trickier with concrete. We love if there's grass involved. So we're working on that, and we can always use engineering ideas if anybody's out there to do that. But they do involve a truck container. So there's this much off next to being a little close to the gate. So next time. Okay. Picnic in the park. Abby, real quick. Because I personally don't know much about it. Oh, Chris.
How much space is all 4 letters?
20 feet.
20 feet.
20 feet.
You can budget a little bit up. You can have to do it 3D. We've been at the Oakshire event. We'll have them at the event.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Abby, picnic in the park. 20. They're not working. Yeah.
Okay. We're having a picnic in the park so we can just hang out in a less formal setting than this gathering. So it is June 20th at 3:30. Cam will provide some light refreshments, but you're welcome to bring snacks to share. And I also have flyers on the table over here, so you can invite your neighbors.
There might be a bunny farm or something. We got an email from some bunny farm. Not sure, but it's growing.
Maybe a petting zoo, still figuring that.
Yeah. And it could be a chance that I just, as chair, would like to just use it as a chance to hear from our neighbors and what events and things we could do next year, get some ideas. And then we have a movie in the park. We are partying with Nea. We're gonna have a booth there. Let's see, Utopia, that's at Tomos, and 7:30. So look at our calendar. We still have all that stuff going on. And what else we got going on? Yes, we have an official communications committee. It's official. Anyone could be on it. We need help with doing newsletter, just communication. We're still dialing that in too. Please email us if you want to get more involved with CAN and learn some of the inner workings. A great way to where it's not intimidating to be on the board. So yeah, we've got that going on this Sunday. Their regulars doing a fundraiser for Bruce Nelson, who has Saturday, right there. That's correct. I'm correct. We said picnic. That's he made some benches or something. I'm not sure, but please go to the website and check it out. Actually, it's in the Star News. It's in the latest Hollywood Star News. So great article about it. And then Cully TIF district update. Not going to go into any specifics right now, but there are big things happening now, as our city councilor said. And please go to the Prosper Portland, I believe, is the best way to find those things. The QR code does work. And yes, event.
So now, the regular Arboretum and Milk Party is to help like abolish under the trees.
Okay.
So that's
Great. And do you have to register?
No, just have.
No, just come, 9 a.m. Saturday. Excellent. Any other announcements?
Yeah,
We got Zach.
yes.
Oh, didn't have it on there.
That's all right.
They're not working. Sorry, run it down.
Hi, I'm Zach Powers. I'm the land use transition and land use contact for CAN, not on the board, but I'm on a committee.
More folks on the committee.
I'd like to invite you to another CAN meeting next week on Wednesday. Usually have Tuesday, but we have a good venue on Wednesday. We're talking about access to Sacagawea Park in East Cully. It's very easy to access from the east or the south, or from the west, it's very difficult. There's a locked gate, so the Parks and Recreation is open to opening access through that gate to bikes and pedestrians, but wanted to collect community feedback. It's mostly been positive so far, but please come to the meeting or look out for Abby's going to send an email. Thank you, Communication Committee. I'll have a survey in there to get your feedback if you can't make the meeting, but it will be next Wednesday, June 17th, 6:30, and it's at the Northeast Emergency Food Program, 4800 Northeast 72nd. It's already on the CAN website, and Abby will send out the details.
It will be hybrid, and it's also a nice chance to see what the space is like. They are charging us, so this is a great opportunity to see what they're doing, and they're needing more renovations. So that's another chance to kind of come check out the space too, and I can be a part of this big conversation. All right, anything else? Danny?
Okay, hi, everybody. It's so wonderful. We have so many people here. So many neighborhood associations say, oh, the board is there and no residents. So kudos to us. So the Cully Neighborhood Farmers Group, we are resurrecting that group. We had 20 plus urban farms and educational gardens in Cully. And our group went for 5.5 years up until the pandemic. And then, so we're resurrecting that group. We usually meet the first Wednesday night of the month, a potluck and a short business meeting. But it's sharing resources among urban farmers. It was mentioned that water rates are going up, right? And farmers have to pay the same amount for water as residents do. So we are meeting, though, not first Wednesday night, which just passed, at Rhythm Seed Farm, which is on the north side of Prescott at 68th. We are combining with a group called Activate Portland. And so, so we're going to have a business meeting at the end of that group. That's 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and that is Saturday, June 13th. So
Do you have anything online we can check out?
Nothing online.
All right.
It's all word of mouth. So right now. But if you know farmers in Cully that would like to join our group, we're connecting with them. Little by little.
Yes, yes. All right, so time for the raffle. Here we go. Contract, think about it, I can think it out. You want to win? Okay, Rachel. Here we go. This is for the gift card, and we might just do one for a free Cully tote bag.
Yeah. Okay, 458 are the last 3 numbers.
Have to be here to win.
Nobody?
458.
Oh, it's the missing ticket.
Oh.
Okay.
Going once? Going twice? Okay, last 3 numbers, 454.
All right. Get your name?
Look at it.
Let's do it so. That's it.
441 for a tote bag.
Go, Joe. Do you have one?
Totes, get that
Do you have one already? All right, there we go. Yes. And, yes, oh, what do you have?
4 free Pasta Tomorrow.
Okay, ice creams. Yeah, let's go 2 ice creams. 2 ice creams.
At a time.
Pronto?
2.
Pronto, down the
Actually,
street.
gelato.
Gelato? Pronto, gelato.
It's really good.
435.
All right.
And then 2 more.
448.
All right, well, gift cards and Bison, thank you again, Bison, and closing remarks, again, thank you again, we will hopefully have, we'll have the new schedule out for our gatherings, for the next fiscal year, look for something in July, maybe something in August, just to keep on informed, and we do need to vote to adjourn the meeting. Wait, who? What else? Next motion to adjourn? And Rachel seconds. All those in favor of joining the Unite gathering? I think it's one more. There we go. Follow us on our social.
-3 minutes. That's pretty good.